Hello and welcome back to Ride Rescue. In this episode, I want to start tearing this apart, getting all the damaged pieces out of the way so I can really inspect the structure. I need to get these doors off, and rather than just taking the doors off and putting them on a rack to strip out all the parts, I want to do them while the doors are still hanging. I want to try to salvage as much as I can off of these. Most of the parts are damaged, but there's still some good parts off of it, and there are some relays and sensors and some wiring that I'm going to need to transfer over to the other doors just to make sure that it has all the same options. Not sure when the automaker started using this laminated glass in the front doors, but it's very difficult to get out when it's all broken and the door is crushed around it. So I'm going to have to just kind of pry through the plastic laminate that holds it all together. It also has a tinted film on the inside. The back door, it's tempered glass as well as the roof, so they just explode when they break. But this front one, I need to get it out of the way so that I can get the latch out. This has the sensored handle, and I do want to keep that sensor. It's about $100 to sense for the door opening when the truck is locked. I need to take this latch out. Now my understanding is I've got to get this handle out, and you got to go through the edge, and the edge is smashed. So I might have to cut away some of the sheet metal. Well, everything inside of here was busted, so typically this would all come out with this door panel on all the components. I can't get to that, but by the time I started working things around, the only thing that was really holding it all together was the wiring. So I will now finish getting all the wiring out so I can get this out of here. And there's two speakers on this door. Getting close. I'm really working hard to save this panel. It is damaged, it's cracked in a few places. I can save it though, it looks like. So if I do end up needing it, luckily I have it. I'll go ahead and take these hinges off now. At this point I've got everything out of the way. I don't want to fall down and damage the rocker panel because the rocker panel is undamaged. So I'll have to be careful as I work around all this. I just need to twist this nut off right here. Right here.
Okay.
Go that way.
Right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, it's going to be stubborn.
Well, it stopped right down here.
One down. I'm hoping that this door is going to be easier to take apart. Since this is smashed and I can't get to the bolt that holds this in, all of the face is broken off of it. So I think it will move through despite the fact that that bolt is still in place. Yeah, I think that'll slide out now. I hope. Let's start tearing the door panel apart. Yeah, looks like it's crushed in here. I'm gonna have to get a pry bar in there. Most of this stuff's broken, so if I can just get everything loosened up with all the wires and the parts, then I won't have to really worry about it. Now that I have the doors out of the way, we can see where the real damage is. I was struggling trying to figure out how is it that the sunroof busted. And now it finally dawns on me after I get all the sticky plastic out of the way. That center brace right there is a pretty strong brace that goes across the roof. And that piece holds this back glass solid. And then the front glass, I believe, is the one that moves. So you just have a big, wide open panoramic view. I'm not exactly positive. I don't know yet because it's all broken. But this brace across the middle is pretty strong. And that was bent down inwards, and that's what popped the glass. So when this pillar was pushed in and it buckled right there, it buckled the roof too. So there is a little dimple right here on all four corners as it wrinkled the roof. Now, as far as I can tell, there's a little bit of wrinkling across this area that should all pull out when this pillar and this pillar are pulled back into place. So by getting my doors mounted on, leaving that beam in place on the sunroof, I should be able to pull this area and that should pull that beam up. So that'll be my guide to make sure I get this roof back where it belongs. I'm hoping if the roof panel moves around like I suspect it will, I won't need to replace that roof panel. That's my hopes. Boy, I really don't want to have to replace that skin, but I can. I just don't want to. So I'm hopeful. You can see where this has been pushed in quite a bit. And with all the wiring that's going goofy, I think the wiring in this area might be crimped. If you're a Goon Squad fan like I am, their Jeep Gladiator, theirs was hit right here pretty hard and their wiring got caught and a lot of their wires got broken. So they were having all kinds of wiring issues. The dealer couldn't figure it out. They finally ended up exposing all of that, and sure enough they had several wires that were cut and grounding out and all kinds of nasty things were going on. Well, I'm experiencing a lot of nastiness going on in this too. So I just pulled the battery out so that I don't have to worry about grounding anything out and causing any more issues. One thing though, the door pushed this in and busted that vent. This is kind of a chromed plastic titanium look that's cracked, so I need to replace this. But what is going to be difficult is to get the stress off, because this is pushed in that way about 1/4 of an inch. It's plastic. There's no metal reinforcing other than this metal bracket inside. So I need to gently pull this metal bracket out at the same time I'm heating this up so that I can take the stress off of that. It did get damaged. There was a screw on the door that punched through the plastic and then dug into the side of that. That's disappointing. I don't think that's really repairable other than replacing that, which is all of that. So I'm going to live with it. I am not going to replace that whole dash panel. I think it was $1,500 to fix that little dimple. So no, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to start with vacuuming up all this glass. I need to clean up the seats. There's glass embedded everywhere. The console top side here is dry, but down inside the armrest it's full of water. So the roof had been leaking, and by getting moisture all over everything, I want to make sure to get that all cleaned up so that I don't get any mildew or smell or anything. Right now it seems to be fairly dry, so I don't think the carpet got wet. But I need to put the battery back in so I can power up these seats. I need to be able to move the seats forward and back. I need to completely pull all of this interior out so that I can strip out all of the headliner, and then when I get to pulling all these panels, I'll have everything exposed so I can see just what needs to be moved and where and how far. These nuts are from the wheels. It has locks on it. I have yet to find that unlocking mechanism, so I really hope it is somewhere hidden in this truck. Start tearing everything out. Hopefully it shows up, because it ain't in the glove box. Hopefully it's in the console. So as I'm starting to clean this up, cleaning up the glass, I took the jack out, and there's a penny, and there's several other pennies. They're all corroded, so this definitely got wet. I don't feel any moisture. I'll keep pulling all this stuff up. I pull all these plastic pieces off, and oh, that reminds me. These seat belts. Oh, good. This one's not locked up. It's free, so I'm hoping I don't have any locked up seat belts. I haven't tried the driver's side yet. Well, I got the battery back in. It does have about an 80% charge. I want to be able to move this seat out of the way, so I was hoping I could get it to move. And it looks like the back moves. Well, that's good. That's a good start. Moves up and down. But it's not moving forward and back. Nice. Alright, well, I need to figure that out. It's all the way forward. I'm hoping I can at least pull it out, but I do want to figure out how to get this thing to move first before I take the seat out. Well, now that I'm down here underneath the seat, there's a lot of little motors and switches and wires, especially with these seats being heated and cooled. Well, this motor appears to be the one that makes the seat go forward and back. So what I did is I disconnected the motor. This motor is the one that works the front and back. So if I hook up my light to this and I turn on the switch, I have power to the motor. So this one has got to be the rear one, the rear motion, and I got power to the rear motion too. So there's something wrong in this motor. So it either has a bad ground or it's gotten wet, because I know everything has been wet. There's rusty screws and bolts and things here and there, as well as pennies that are corroded. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out this little motor then. Taking the visors off so that I can start getting things out of the way, and it is raining glass. There is so much glass everywhere up here. I'll have to get some gloves on and some goggles on. Wow. Okay, well, rather than shaking that out, I guess I'll just unplug some things and dump it in the trash. I thought this console was going to be a lot of work. I've seen some of them online, the Fords and the Chevys. You take hours and hours to get out. There's a bolt there, and then there's a little snap cover right here, and a bolt there. So there's 3 on each side, and it just slides right back out of the way. And then there is a plug, a power source, that runs some of these options. I just need to grab on that power source, unplug it, and pull this thing out. That was a huge relief. This back seat seems to be fairly simple compared to a lot of them I've seen. Looks like I've got a couple bolts on each side, and then there's 6 seatbelt mounts. So I'm hoping that's all it is. It's pretty simple.
I thought it would be simple. Being an old car guy, I do a lot of tools, and I've got a huge inventory of standard, not metric. And I don't have very many Torx heads either, and there's a lot of Torx heads in this thing. So I guess I gotta go to the store and buy me some tools. One thing that's neat, I gotta show you this. It's kind of an optional thing, come to find out. This storage bin under the seat. And it's done. And you got all this storage room. The seat folds down against it. And folds right back up again. It's pretty cool. I think it was a $200 option. I don't know if it's that cool, but once I got the correct socket to get that back bolt out and those two seatbelt bolts, man, I thought it was going to be really easy, and I just could not get the seat to release from the wall. It has a reclining seat option, which is pretty cool, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to release, and I kept reaching in, I kept feeling this, and I kept feeling this, and I was getting really angry, and then I felt this. Talk about hidden in there too, man, it's almost impossible to reach. I finally came up from underneath, and I felt around, and then I felt it, and it releases this little latch right here, which releases that bar, and then the whole thing came out. Man, when you don't know, it makes it very difficult. Now, had I known that little pull string was there, that would have been so easy. Well, I'm getting closer to where the main damage is, and speaking of damage, notice that plastic has got some stress damage to it. That'll need to be replaced. It's always hard to know which way to pull without breaking them. Feels like it's got to come forward. Nope, broke it. It was already broke though, but now I know. When I take the other side off, don't break it. Didn't break any that time.